I wish for you to swap my body with the body of the Saiyan Goku!
What the what?
Fascinating. So this is how it feels to be Goku.
What the? Why am I green and tiny?
Look, Mom, I told you.
What? Are you sure that's him?
Yeah, I was standing right there when he transformed.
Goku, what's going on? I mean, is that really you in there?
Yeah, Chi-Chi. I don't know how. It just happened.
He no longer has his body, but he's kept his mind.
Huh? Wait, what?
Dad?
No way! You look just like me!
Then he snuffed you out, using your own body as his weapon.
Just like I'm doing right now. Damn you! And what about Chi-Chi? And Goten? Oh, surely you can guess that much, Goku. After I struck you down in front of your wife and child, it was time to finish the cleansing.
Now, for those of y'all wondering why I'm using anime footage to further emphasize my point about narcissism, it's because Dragon Ball has two characters in particular that I think exemplify what narcissism is the best, Cell and Zamasu. The character I'm going to be using as an example for this video, though, specifically is Zamasu. Now, this is not a video that I thought I would be making, but I don't really have much free time anymore, at least not recently. And this particular video should only take about 10 or 15 minutes to make. And because I feel like I can cover it quickly and get straight to the point. Now, a common question I've been getting asked that I haven't really answered directly in videos is that, how is it that a simple little gag track can cause all of this drama? And people don't understand, because we live in an era where there's basically an anti-intellectualism movement, where people were thinking with their feelings and not thinking with logic anymore. Some people in the world have mental impairments, personality disorders, the whole 9 yards. Yet we're trained to believe that we should treat deformed people with mental impairments that were not born normal as the same as you would treat a regular person. People have started calling me some A word that I can't even pronounce because I've never even heard of this word until recently, but this is what people have been calling me, which basically means when you discriminate against people that have mental diseases, personality disorders, my bad, the whole 9 yards. Hopefully by the end of this explanation, you guys see why treating somebody with a disability like they're normal is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this really shouldn't have to be explained, and this is probably where most of the dislikes come from, but oh well. Alright? I'm going to cover what narcissism is, then I'm going to cover, how it relates to why people got so anal over a simple gag track. So, when you take a look at Zamasu, he was basically a god in Dragon Ball who hated everybody. Now, in the show he says he hates mortals and he thinks that God should rule over mortals and, cleanse humanity and wipe out humanity and start anew. But this is a bold-faced lie, because Zamasu doesn't just kill mortals, he kills everybody, gods and mortals alike. In the anime version of Dragon Ball, he literally wipes out all of humanity. And he also kills all of the gods so that nobody can oppose him. Now, why does this happen? Zamasu already hated everybody. But when he met and fought with Goku, see, a regular person, if they get beaten by somebody, they'll be like, oh, okay, I need to train, I need to get stronger, I need to come back, stronger than ever and beat this guy in round 2. Narcissistic people are not like that. When Zamasu lost, he went berserk. He saw Goku as a threat to be eliminated because regular people, while they may want to train and have a rematch, narcissistic people, they cannot handle losses. They cannot admit to any wrongdoing, and they cannot admit to any character flaws. When you beat a narcissist, they cannot handle it because it makes them realize that they have a flawed character trait, and they absolutely hate embracing that. There is a reason that after I won the Zap debate, certain motherfuckers started making up rumors about me that were just bullshit. Because when I beat them in that debate, it forced them to admit that their stupid little gag track isn't nearly as good as they thought it was. Because these people were narcissists, it burned their hearts to the core, right? This may sound ridiculous to people that have not studied the subject that much. Casual people that just live their everyday lives watching football and playing video games. They never open up books. They never open up dictionaries. They never spend any moments of their daily lives actually searching for the truth and learning any information on their own. Such a concept to them is going to sound ridiculous. Oh, it's ridiculous that this all started over a gag track. And it is kind of ridiculous. But when you understand what's going on, things start to make more sense. Now, Zamasu, yeah, what did he do after Goku beat him? He used the Dragon Balls to swap bodies with Goku, to get all of his abilities and whatnot, because he's got to be the number one guy. And then he killed Goku, right? He killed the threat that beat him. And then what does he do? Well, he kills Goku's family as well, with the exception of Gohan, as you guys saw in the footage. But then what does he do after that? He goes into the future and teams up with who? Himself. True narcissism right there. And then take a look at Cell. I mean, what does his fucking name say? Perfect Cell. That's literally his final state. Perfection in his eyes, right? He was literally teaching Trunks on why, even though they had equal power at the time, why Trunks couldn't beat him. Because Trunks did a transformation that sapped his speed. And despite Cell teaching Trunks that is a stupid transformation, what does he do after Gohan starts to beat him? He takes the same transformation that he taught somebody else was useless. Because at that point, he was looking for any possible way to win. Because he has to be the only guy with power. True narcissism, right? Narcissism is often confused with psychopathy, but there is a major difference. A psychopath, unlike a narcissist, can admit to being a psychopath under the right conditions. A psychopath can admit to their mental impurities and character flaws and being wrong. They can admit to all of this under favorable conditions. Let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of the interviews you see on the internet with psychopaths, usually these people were bribed with money or a reduced prison sentence, whatever. Something was offered to them in order to make them feel like this is a favorable condition for them to admit to their flaws, right? You can get a psychopath to admit to anything if you create a favorable opportunity for them. Plus, psychopaths like to brag and tell their stories anyways, right? Narcissists, on the other hand, under no circumstances will they admit to having narcissism, and under no circumstances will they admit to any character flaws or being wrong or anything that makes them look bad. It's impossible. If you meet somebody and they say they're a narcissist, they're not a narcissist. You can't even get these people to admit I'm a narcissist in a joking manner. They won't even joke about it. They won't ever, and you see this often in the Toontown community. In the Toontown community, there was some guy in my old Discord actually called Big Tooth, and, he was basically admitting that he leaked some stuff from another Toontown server. And I was like, you were trusted with secret information about a Toontown server, and you broke that trust by leaking the information, and you wonder why everybody got angry at you. And the minute he said, so you guys are anti-leak, I already knew he was a narcissist. Because I know USJWs want to believe that everybody is equal regardless of whatever fucking mental impairment they have. If you treat somebody with a mental illness the same as a regular person, then there is no hope for you. Because simple logic says you cannot treat a psychopath like a regular person. You cannot treat a narcissist like a regular person. You can't treat a person with no legs like a regular person. This is just simple logic. But a lot of people of today, they like to think with their feelings and not with logic, right? So a bunch of people tried to explain to him why you shouldn't leak information you have been trusted with, and he just didn't get it, and he never will because he's a narcissist, right? He just kept saying, oh, you're anti-leak. It's kind of like what the SJWs do when you point out something about them that is incorrect, or something about them that they believe that is incorrect. They'll call you anti-leak, anti-whatever, and it's a common tactic. But people wonder how all of this started over a stupid little Zap gag. 2 reasons. 1, the people that made Zap are probably narcissists. After I won that debate, suddenly all kinds of rumors about me pop up from a Clash dev. And, suddenly I get banned from the game due to the rumors that they invented, right? So the people that made the gag are probably narcissists, and a lot of people that use the gag track are narcissists as well. I mean, they started a whole Twitter campaign taking shit that I said in my personal Discord out of context, all because I made fun of their stupid gag. I've been the same person for 10 years, right? I've been saying the same shit for 10 years, right? My whole 10 years on YouTube. If I was this or if I was that, why do people only suddenly start talking about it? I'll tell you why. Because for the most part, Toontown was ran by Disney's Toontown Online. That's where most of my videos came from. Disney didn't hire narcissists to run their game. Disney didn't hire narcissists to run their tracks. Now, some people, you did see a few narcissists get angry if you talked about their loreless set or their soundless set, etc. There's entire cults revolved around that, mainly because the people running the cults are narcissists too. But when it comes to the Zap shit, Disney had standards for hiring people on their team. These servers nowadays don't. They don't have any standards because they're ran by a bunch of punks, So it is what it is. But nonetheless, narcissists, people with personality disorders and mental impairments, there's just certain things that regular people, that is common sense to them, these types of people, it's just something they'll never understand. They don't understand how admitting to a character flaw can help your character become stronger. It's not something they'll ever comprehend. So when you tell them that Zap sucks, and it could use a lot of improvement, it pisses them off because to a narcissist, you're attacking their character when you attack something that they invented or something that they support. It's kind of like why, people got angry at me for using the quote T word, tranny, right? Because a lot of these people have mental impairments, One of the main chicks that lead this campaign against me on Twitter, she has in her Twitter bio bragging about a mental impairment that she has, Now, some mental impairments are worse than others, but some of these greatly affect your ability to understand things that is normal to regular people, but it'll be a foreign concept to you. Admitting to a character flaw, or admitting to being wrong, or, admitting and owning up to a loss, these are things that narcissistic people just cannot do. It is beyond. It's not something that they can do. It would be like trying to teach a dog how to do a backflip. It's not. They don't comprehend how to do it, right? So, those of y'all out there that think we should treat these people as normal, as equals, like there's nothing different about them, Hopefully this explanation gets you guys to think a little bit more. If it doesn't, I don't really give a fuck in the first place. I don't care what people think about me, if that hasn't been obvious in my 10 years of making videos on this channel. But people wanted to know how a silly little gag track can cause all of this drama. This is how. I understand that the average person is not interested in finding out truth or facts or doing any research. That's why me telling people to do their own research is a meme now, because people would rather live and be retarded. Hey, it is what it is, right? But for those of y'all that seek to further understand some of the things that's going on in life, here you go. Now, the consensus is that, about 5% of people in the world have psychopathy, but only 1% of people have narcissism. I would refute this number because there's a lot of variables that aren't being considered. Now, I'll give you an example. I have had to take quite a lot of psychological evaluations because of my career field. And the last one I took, because if you're an ex, if you come from law enforcement or corrections or whatever, the job I'm working at right now, you got to take a second psychological evaluation because people that come from that field, you're considered to have a heightened sense of morality. So they actually give you a double psychological evaluation. And I was asking the examiner, some of these questions, man, can't somebody with a mental impairity just lie? One of the fucking questions was, do you have thoughts of harming people? And I'm like, what person with a brain is gonna say yes to that? And the answer I was given was the politically correct answer. Well, it's not just one or two questions that determines your psychological state. We use all of them. So, the most obvious variable that isn't being considered is that higher IQ narcissists and psychopaths, etc., they'll just lie on the test. So I think that 1% is a lot higher. And when you look at the Toontown community, when you look at how so many people in the community just cannot admit to being wrong, who just cannot admit to any wrongdoing, who will fucking make a bullshit about you if you make fun of their favorite little gag track, or they'll try to quote-unquote cancel you. I think a lot more people than 1% in the Toontown community especially have narcissism. But that's just my opinion there. But that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video when I have some free time to make a video that will take more than 15 minutes to make. Peace. And as usual, if y'all have any questions, post it in the comments below.